Okay. Evening. My name's Dan Holmes. I'm a freelance photographer out of Ventura, California. Been doing this now for several years. I do a lot of different work, and a lot of my work is outside. And one of my most important tools is the tripod. And I'm here tonight to talk about an easy maintenance trick on Induro tripods that will keep you in the field shooting for a lot longer with a lot more satisfaction. I'm a big fan of Enduros. I think the value is great. They're well built, they are not overbuilt, and they fit my needs really well. I have three. I have a small backpacking model, I have a medium-sized travel that is holding the camera right now, and then I've also got my workhorse, the CT carbon fiber CT313. This is a nice big tripod. I'm a tall guy, so it's got everything I need. Been really happy with it. I've put it through about 7 years of hard use with sand, salt, rain, dust, bouncing around in the back of the car. It's traveled over the world, and it's done me really well. But one thing I've noticed over about the last 6 months or so is that the legs no longer stay tight. Normally it's really easy to tighten up the legs. It's kind of a wearing process. You take the large Allen wrench that comes with the toolkit that comes with the tripod, and you just tighten up the Allen bolts on the top of the head, on what's called the spider, which is this part in the middle where the legs attach. Tighten it up nicely, your legs are nice and snug. Okay. But one thing I've noticed is that one of the legs especially, after a certain amount of time, has gotten so loose that even when I tighten it up, so I've got that nice and snug, with just a couple of movements, now the leg is loose. So it flops, which is a pain when you're carrying it, and it's also no longer tight or snug, so it doesn't give me a solid base to shoot from. Induro has a pretty nice way of attaching the legs, and here I'll show you how it works. This is the spider, which is this part, and this is where the legs attach. And this is the actual bearing where the legs attach to. Now the key to this whole thing is taking out the bolt here, and is this bearing inside, which is basically a tube of aluminum or maybe steel, not sure. But this tube, this bearing, needs to be able to slide in and out, and it needs to be able to turn. So then when you have the legs attached and snug, the bearing turns inside the spider. Well, guess what? Through my 7 years of abuse of this tripod, I didn't realize that should be maintained. And what's happened is that bearing has either corroded or filled up with sand and salt, but that bearing no longer is movable. So I'm going to take the leg off, lock washer, bolt, Allen bolt, there we go, lock washer, just fell on the ground, but that's not a problem, and take off the leg, and there are two copper washers. Those come out, legs off, and now this bearing is corroded in. It will not move. It will not budge. I've tried. So I'll give that a pretty good whack with a mallet. Not gonna budge. Not gonna budge at all. And I can look in there, that's permanently attached. So with that bearing now seized up, the legs will not ever tighten up well. So the key is now in your maintenance after a big trip, or at any time when you may have salt or sand, or just out of normal maintenance, take your legs off, take the bearings out, clean them, clean the inside, apply a new layer of grease. I've got some Teflon bicycle grease that would work. Reinsert your bearing, reattach your legs, and you're good to go, probably for as long as that tripod will stand. So again, that's a good trick for maintenance of Induro tripods, and I appreciate Induro. I appreciate Mac Group, who sent me a new spider to replace the one that I had let go bad, and continued good value with Induro tripods. So thanks, and again, this is Dan Holmes. My website is danholmesphoto.com, and you can also find me on Facebook or Instagram under Dan Holmes Photo. Thanks, and happy shooting.